Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to this wonderful free session of neurotherapy sponsored by Joshi's Kerala Group and Acharya Ramachandran sir. This is a very important eye-opening session on vitamin D, and this is part one only. So there are more parts ahead. So I request all of you to listen to this sessions very carefully with your pen and book and your minds open for these sessions so that you can understand what these treatments can help you, and also you need to understand what are the reasons for this vitamin D deficiency related to our various health problems. Not just one. Many people feel that it is related to just one issue. But no, vitamin D has many issues. It also brings vitamin B12 down, bringing more pains into your body. So, other than that, there are so many things. And I believe that this session will be an eye opener for all of you. And actually, we have our natural light, sunlight also. But we need to understand many other things related to it to understand and how this vitamin D is going to help us personally, overall, in overall health and also our well-being. So without wasting time, let us welcome our Acharya Ramachandran sir for this wonderful session. I'm inviting all of you to this wonderful session also and sharing your gratitude to Ramachandran sir for this session and the upcoming sessions. So a warm welcome to you, sir. Good evening, sir. Please take over the session. Thank you.
A warm welcome to all of you participants. Grateful thanks to Joshi sir and to Anusha madam and of course to Joshi's Kerala Group. Good evening, everyone. I now welcome you to the special talk on how our body's natural intelligence can be awakened through neurotherapy. Neurotherapy is the short name for what is known as Lajpat Rai Mehra's neurotherapy. And here you can see the founder, pioneer founder of neurotherapy, that is Dr. Lajpat Rai Mehra himself. And so we just mentally pray to him that may he bless us with this knowledge and also with gaining the techniques for making or keeping ourselves healthy without the use of medicines, just with simple techniques. Okay, so now we are going to start with vitamin D. And before we talk about the therapy itself, I want to show you something very interesting, something that is happening silently inside each and every one of ourselves every second. So we are going to begin with vitamin D. So definitely all of us have heard of vitamin D right from our childhood. It is also called, perhaps may not be, many people may not know, it's called the sunshine vitamin. Why? Because it comes from sunlight. It helps our bones. It prevents weakness. But the fact is, many people may not know how vitamin D actually works inside the body. And that is where today's slide comes in. So what is this vitamin D receptor? So vitamin D receptor is there in every cell of our body. There's a tiny powerful protein called vitamin D receptor. I think it's a bit small, so I'll make it a bit bigger. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So inside every cell in our body, there is a tiny powerful protein that is called VDR, vitamin D receptor. So we can think of this receptor as a switchboard operator or a security guard standing inside the cell. And it belongs to a special family of what are known as nuclear receptors. So what does it mean? These receptors live inside the cell, near the nucleus of the cell. And what is the nucleus of the cell? It is the cell's command center. So if you want to understand really in simple words, I give you an analogy. Let us see your cell, let us say it has a lock. And what is the key of that lock? That is vitamin D. So when vitamin D, it has several forms. One of them is an active form that is called calcitriol. Okay. So when this calcitriol, when that calcitriol enters the cell, what does it do? It goes on looking for its matching lock. And that is, the matching lock is the VDR. So once it finds the lock, it fits in perfectly. You know, like we are having a bunch of keys. We are having a bunch of keys in our hand, and we are having a lock. So what we'll do, we'll try to find out which key fits that lock, and then we'll start putting that key in the lock. Exactly same way, we are having so many receptors in our body for so many hormones, for thyroid hormone, for growth hormone, for many hormones like that, for insulin. Like that, we are having a vitamin D receptor. This is what I want you to understand. We are having receptors for many hormones. And out of that, one of them, important one, is vitamin D receptor. So it has to fit in the correct lock only. And when it fits in that lock, like a click, the lock opens. So when this happens, the vitamin D and VDR combination, it goes right into the nucleus. And nucleus is what? You all know, the nucleus is the control room of the cell, where all your genes are stored. And then once it reaches the nucleus, what does it do? It starts turning the certain genes, it turns them on, certain genes, it turns them off. You know, just like a good controller, he just flips switches in a control panel. So in plain English, we can say that vitamin D doesn't just float around helping bones. It actually talks to your genes. It instructs your cells on what to do, whether to grow, whether to repair, whether to protect, or whether to rest. And that is how powerful the system is. Understand? So we can also think of an example. You know, because you see, an example or analogy makes everything very clear. You know, when I read this, when I was preparing this matter, it was a bit, I'll tell you, a bit confusing. It's not so easy to understand. So I know not everybody will understand. And all of you are having so many jobs during your day. So an example will make it fit here. You know, we have an inverter in the house. Many houses have inverters because of this thing, power failure. Or even if not an inverter, you have an electricity board. So for this electricity board in our body, what is the electricity? Sunlight. And what is the current? That is vitamin D. So when sunlight falls on our body, vitamin D, the electricity starts flowing into your system. But is it enough? If you just have the electricity flowing, don't you require a switch? Here, that switch is the vitamin D receptor. So that current, without that switch, the current cannot reach the lights or fans, isn't it? So here comes the very important statement. Please pay attention. Even if you stand in the sunlight all day, if your switch, that is the VDR, the vitamin D receptor, if that switch is not working well, your body cannot use that vitamin D properly. And this is what is happening nowadays. So many of you are taking calcium supplements. Maybe 1% or 2% are even standing in the sun. I know many people don't stand in the sun. And without standing in the sun, your vitamin D supplement is not going to really work well. But okay. It's okay. That is our dilemma. We are not able to stand in the sun. But even those who are standing in the sun, if their switch is not working properly, then they cannot use that vitamin D properly. So now this is where we come to why neurotherapy, LMNT, why we care about this. So you may wonder, We are talking about receptors. We are talking about DNA. Why are we doing this in a neurotherapy lecture? Why? Because neurotherapy is unlike modern medicine. It doesn't just look at symptoms like low vitamin D or bone pain. What do we ask ourselves? Why is your body, why is your body unable to use the vitamin D it already has? So then what are the possible, let us say, solutions or answers? So we come to, maybe your nervous system isn't sending the right messages to the glands which activate vitamin D. We know certain glands are activating vitamin D. Okay, we'll come to it by and by. So what are they? Those glands are the liver or the kidneys. So that means what? Either the liver or the kidneys are not getting the right messages, or they are not performing their conversion steps properly. Otherwise, another reason may be that your VDR themselves are not functioning efficiently. Why? Because of poor nerve supply. So that is where neurotherapy plays a magical role. It helps restore communication inside the body. When the nerves start talking properly, even your vitamin D receptors, they work better. So you see, in neurotherapy, we are not adding anything from outside. We are simply reminding our body to use what it already has. That is a VDR receptor. Okay. So this is the first step. Understanding how something as tiny as a receptor can decide how healthy we are. So now in the next slide, we will see how vitamin D gets activated inside the body and how neurotherapy improves that process naturally without medicines and without supplements. So now you have understood that vitamin D receptor or VDR, what it does, you have understood. So let's move a step further. So for a long time, scientists believed that vitamin D was only about bones and calcium. I am sure if I ask for a show of hands out of the 75 people or so over here, I am sure at least 60% or 80% will say, yes, we have known only that vitamin D was concerned about calcium and bones. Maybe some people who have read latest material, maybe after seeing my this thing, my topic, maybe you might know a little bit more. But vitamin D is not only about bones and calciums. Of course, it is vitamin D helped our bones to grow stronger, and it prevents rickets, it prevents osteoporosis. But in recent years, research has shown something absolutely amazing. What is that? Amazing. VDRs are everywhere. Vitamin D receptors are everywhere. So that means vitamin D receptors are not limited to bones, kidney, intestines. These are the so-called classic organs. So in fact, vitamin D receptors are found in over 30 different tissues in our body. That means almost in every important system you can name. So now let us see what are the important systems, and I will explain them in small, brief. I am not going to give a very technical lecture. But if I don't give this theory, many of you will not understand the magnanimity or the magnanimity of this of the situation. Okay, so you will still go on continuing to just keep on taking tablets. I don't say tablets should not be taken, but you must understand what they are doing in the body and then how best we can supplement it. Okay. So now what are this thing? So the systems are, first we start with the skeletal system. So in the skeletal system, what is skeletal system consisting of? Bones. And in bones, there are two types of cells. One is called osteoblast. Blast, these are the builders. They are the ones that make new bone to grow. Then you have osteoclasts. These are, you can call them as the sculptors. You know, they are chipping off the old or damaged bone. They remove it so that new bone can come in that place. So osteoclasts, they help to reabsorb calcium into the cells. Okay. And the beauty is that in both these osteoblasts and osteoclasts, vitamin D receptors, VDRs, are present. So vitamin D doesn't just help bones to absorb calcium, it actually helps your body to decide when to build and when to break the bone. And that is called balance. Then the next one is called immune system. Okay. So what is the immune system? It is our body's defense army. And basically, we have got 4 different types of cells. Number one, it is called the T cells. T cells means the cells made by the thymus gland. Even this is not one cell. There are 4 different types of T cells. They are called T helper cells, T killer cells, T memory cells. And then we have got B cells. T suppressor cells and T memory cells. And then you have got what are known as B cells. Okay. Then you have got what are known as macrophages. You know what is a macrophage? It is something for those who know our scriptures. In Ramayana, I'm not talking religion. I'm just talking about a story of Ramayana, which almost every one of us knows. In Ramayana, we have a character called Kabandhan in Tamil. What is this Kabandhan? He is said to be a character who is having no head. He has only one mouth, and he puts everything into that mouth. And where is that mouth? It is in his navel. This is just, of course, this is the pictorial way of how films depict that character. But really, what it means that in our body, if we take our body itself as this thing of Ramayana, the hero of Ramayana, then our body has cells which destroy. In Kabandha, he will destroy anything that comes in its way. But in our body, these macrophages are cells which just gobble up only unwanted tissues, unwanted cells, all dead cells, all these things, it will just block. And of course, bacteria and viruses. So you understand? So this is the type of a system we are having. Then, of course, there are other cells called dendritic cells. They are also soldiers of our immunity. So what does this vitamin D do? It helps these 4 cells, T cells, B cells, macrophages, and dendritic cells. It helps them to recognize friends from enemies. And by doing that, what does it do? It helps to fight infections and even calm down when the battle is over. So now, just giving you something to think. You know, a person, he gets frequent colds. We immediately think, we know, of course, that his immunity is poor, and then we immediately take whatever tablet is to be taken. But did you know that it can be linked to low vitamin D? Normally, we don't eat any vitamin D tablet when you have a cold. Okay, it's true. Vitamin D is not directly going to cure that cold. But if your vitamin D was less, then you will have frequent colds. You will have slow recovery. And another important thing, you have heard of autoimmune diseases like myasthenia gravis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. These are all very famous autoimmune diseases. In all these diseases, vitamin D plays a major part. So now we understand how it is very much relevant to the knowledge we all possess. We all know all these things, that there are autoimmune diseases. But did any one of us, or were you ever told that it is linked to vitamin D? That is why I say today's lecture is eye-opener. Just give me 1 minute. Just 1 second. Just 1 minute. There is a small break, a very urgent thing I have to attend to. Please just bear with me. I'm really very sorry. Really sorry for the disturbance. Okay. So where were we now? We are talking about vitamin D and immunity. So the next time any of our children are having frequent colds, they are having slow recovery from fever, etc., then the first thing you should do is to expose them to sunlight. Because first the natural vitamin D has to come from sunlight. Only then when it enters the skin, this calcitriol will be getting converted and then getting used up in the body. And of course, we have neurotherapy treatment also for it. So understand, and also to prevent autoimmune diseases. Actually, we are very lucky in India. In India, we don't have so many autoimmune diseases. Abroad, because the people, even naturally, they don't have much sunlight. And many of them, they are accustomed to living in a air-conditioned atmosphere, so they cannot tolerate much heat. And except when they go and sit in a beach, no, and there they get sunburn and skin cancer and all that. So all these things are just because of certain wrong living styles. But in India, we don't have so much problem because many of us, we can, in general, not always, but in general, we can tolerate sunlight to a reasonable extent. So now I request all of you, please, 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 if your children are having problems about immunity, please do not hesitate to give them in the sun. Put them in the sun. And if you have the this thing, you should follow the Kerala style. You should wrap them in a plantain leaf and lay them in the sun. If you have that luck to be in that atmosphere, please do that, and you will save your children from many immunity problems. Okay, so then the next one is the endocrine system, and this is a very important system for us because in the endocrine system, VDRs are seen in the very important organ of the endocrine system, that is the pancreas, and where especially the beta cells of the pancreas, which produce insulin. So that is how vitamin D directly influences sugar control. Those of you in this group who have attended my diabetics classes and who have got benefited, please remember, you have to also keep sitting in the sun. Exposure to sun is a must if you want to have good insulin, this thing, and lower your insulin resistance and all that. Okay. Then, of course, in the endocrine system comes the parathyroid glands, and that is, of course, there for balancing calcium levels. So now you can understand vitamin VDRs are not only about bones. It is also connected to metabolism. Diabetes is considered to be a metabolic disorder, na? And it's also concerned with energy levels. So when anybody says, I am feeling very lethargic, the best way is put them immediately in the sun, expose them to the sun. And in fact, many of us, when we are feeling a bit sluggish, we all know, suppose we go out and stand in the sun for a few minutes, then we feel very nice. So now we understand. And then we come to the cardiovascular system. Believe me, even your heart has vitamin D receptors. The heart muscles and the walls of your blood vessels both contain VDRs, vitamin D receptors. So that means what? Vitamin D helps to maintain a healthy blood pressure. Number one, healthy blood pressure. Number two, proper muscle contraction. You know, the heart has to squeeze, the muscle has to contract. So that has to be that. And only then when that happens, you will have smooth circulation. So for all this, vitamin D is helping. Now we can think like this. It is as if vitamin D is whispering instructions to the heart. Hey, beat steady, not too fast, not too slow. That means both tachycardia, bradycardia. Tachycardia means fast beating. Bradycardia means slow beating. In both of them, vitamin D is essential. So understand. So that is why you have written. It is there in heart muscle cells and vascular smooth muscle cells. Now, the smooth muscles, I will also tell you another thing about this. Smooth muscles are the muscles which are inside all the glands. Now, they are what make the gland squeeze and contract, and also in the heart, of course, in all hollow organs. That means it's also there in all the capillaries, it is there in all the arteries, it is there in all the veins. So in everywhere, the smooth muscles are there. So now you understand how standing in the sun for half an hour rejuvenates your body, because all the muscles, smooth muscles, they start working well. Then, of course, we come to a very important system, that is the reproductive system. And even in our reproductive organs, like the ovaries, the testes, the placenta, even there VDRs are present. So that means vitamin D quietly supports fertility, pregnancy, healthy growth of a baby inside the womb. So what should we call such a vitamin? Should we not call it a life-giving vitamin? In fact, some people call it so. Life-giving vitamin, vitamin D. And then, of course, now you are coming something which is very close to neurotherapy, because neurotherapy means to do with the nerves. So what is that? The nervous system. So vitamin D receptors are found in the neurons. And you know, neurons are the ones, the nerve cells which send messages. And then you also have glial cells. And what are they? They are the cells which protect and nourish the neurons. So this means vitamin D is deeply involved in how our brain and nerves function. And so when you are talking about brain and nerves, so naturally it will affect the mood, it will affect the sleep, it will affect the focus, even how our body reacts to stress and pain. So all these things will be affected by vitamin D. So if someone feels mentally tired, you know, I can't work for a long time, I feel tired, I cannot concentrate. Children are telling that nowadays, I can't concentrate, mummy. They can concentrate on the mobile. But you tell them on the client about the lessons, they will say, I can't concentrate. Put them in the sun. Okay. Tell them you have to stay in the sun for some time. Then for people who are the patients who are in depression or forgetful, memory loss, all of them will benefit by vitamin D. So if somebody feels mentally tired, depressed, or forgetful, don't think it is only stress. It may be because their vitamin D pathways are not active enough. And this is not all. You have many other tissues like the skin. They are called keratinocytes. Then muscles, liver, and lungs. So that means practically everywhere. There is nothing left out. So many places. So that means this is how vitamin D helps to repair wounds. Skin means wounds. It helps to repair wounds. And skin means skin glow. Vitamin D helps to keep the skin glow. So there is no need to go to put many facial creams if you can give proper exposure to your body. Okay. So it makes the skin glow. Then it keeps the muscles flexible. Some people have tight joints, arthritic pains. Of course, arthritic people, they require always vitamin D. But now you can understand why. Because their VDRs are not getting activated. And then it is also important to detox the liver, because it's there in the liver, no? Why is it there? For detoxing. And then it protects the lungs. So any lung-related problems, asthma people, put them in the sun. Bronchitis, put them in the sun. Anybody having respiratory distress, put them in the sun. Okay. Then you have sleep apnea, very famous. Sleep apnea, I'm sure many of you must have heard about it. That means while sleeping, suddenly for some time, the breath will stop. It will stop completely, but the person won't die. And then like that, he will just, sorry. He overreacted. Okay. So it's not that he will die, but if the breath stops for some time, then he will take a long breath. And for that, in neurotherapy, we have a wonderful treatment that is called 15 medulla. We'll talk about it later. Okay. we will show 15 medulla just like that, because many people have this problem. Okay, so I'm writing and I will show it 15 medulla for newcomers. I see there are a number of newcomers and of course number of old people. So I thank the old people who have already been attending my classes. I thank them for staying along, and the new people I welcome you, and then I am sure you will all enjoy what I am delivering. Okay, so okay, then so by all this now, the old idea, let us understand, the old idea that vitamin D is only for bones is outdated. Outdated. Vitamin D is not only for bones, it is a universal messenger. It coordinates work between different organs. You know, the example, I'm sure many of you might have seen in English films, you have an orchestra playing, and then you have a conductor who is doing like that, like that. He will just be moving his hands, but the entire orchestra follows his hands. When he does like this, the orchestra will slow down, then suddenly he will do like that, and the orchestra will go up. All these things. That exactly that type of orchestration is done by this vitamin D. So now scientists don't just call it a vitamin, they call it a global regulator of body functions. Okay, it is a global regulator of body functions. And so now let us connect it to neurotherapy. This is where neurotherapy connects very beautifully. If because these VDRs, the vitamin D receptors, they are present in all organs, from the brain to heart to immune cells, then every small imbalance in the nervous system can affect how these receptors work. So in neurotherapy, what we do, we stimulate certain nerve points. Let us say for pancreas. Now, many of you who have been in my previous classes, you know there is a point called 8-pan. Pan is for pancreas. Then we have point for kidney. We have point for liver. Or we have point for the spine, on the spine, beside the spine, like that we have points. So we are not just improving organ function alone. We are helping the vitamin D receptors in those tissues to respond better, to absorb better, and perform better. So that is how what happens. The body starts healing itself naturally. So from this, what is the message you get? Vitamin D is not just a bone vitamin. It is a body-wide messenger. And your nervous system, which neurotherapy works on, is the key to keep that message clear and strong. Okay. So now, I hope I've been reasonably slow. I am trying to be slow, but there is a lot of material. And I want to show you some practicals also. So if I am too fast, all of you, please let me know. And then if necessary, I will repeat. If anybody says, please repeat this portion, I will repeat it. And for that, all you have to do is just raise your digital hand. You don't have to talk. Just raise your digital hand. Then I will repeat whatever I have said. Okay, before I go ahead. So does anybody require any such repetition? So I don't see any hands. Okay, so then we'll go forward. Okay. So now the question will come in the mind. What happens when the vitamin D receptors are activated? So we have got 5 areas where 6 areas for bone and calcium phosphate balance, for immune system, pancreas, cardiovascular. Some of these we have covered, but we'll still cover it in a different way. Okay. So friends, we have seen that vitamin D receptors, the VDRs, are spread all over the body. So let us see what they actually do when they are switched on. Here again, I give the analogy of example of electricity. You know, when electricity flows through your house, what happens? Some lights glow, some fans start working, the fridge starts cooling. In the same way, when vitamin D activates its receptors through neurotherapy or otherwise, then different systems of the body start performing their special jobs. So now what we'll do? We will go system by system. Is that it? Okay. So now let us first start with bone and calcium phosphate balance. So this is the most famous role of vitamin D, that is bone health. So now you will understand that vitamin D is not only strong bones, it is more than that. So number one, in the intestines, when VDR is activated, what does it do? It helps the intestines to absorb calcium and phosphate from the food we eat. Now, many of you know moringa. Moringa, that is drumstick. Drumstick is an excellent source of phosphate and of course calcium. Bananas with skin, especially the inside skin of the bananas, that contains serotonin. Bananas contain calcium. In fact, any white naturally occurring product like onions, white radish, mooli, it is called, all these things are a natural source of calcium. But for them, when VDR is activated, when these VDRs are activated, then it helps the intestines to absorb this calcium from the food we eat. So nowadays, we can call it like it is improving the uptake efficiency of your meals. So though you may be eating the same roti, same dal every day, but when these VDRs are activated, then your body actually absorbs the minerals properly. So that is in the intestines. In the bones, I told you just now, we have got builders called osteoblasts. We have got cleaners called osteoclasts. So it tells them, it builds the balance. It tells them when to make the bone and when to remodel the old bone. And that is how vitamin D receptors, they keep our skeleton healthy. They keep it dense. They keep it flexible. Now, density, I just want to talk about density for a second. You know, you have heard of osteoporosis. In osteoporosis, what is happening? The calcium which is inside the bones, it just comes out and then it gets deposited in the blood. So the blood calcium level does not show any low calcium, but in the bones it will show as osteoporosis. And do you know how to quickly identify osteoporosis? You need to take a digital X-ray. When you have a digital X-ray of a bone, just look at the bone like that and look at that X-ray. If the bone is dense white, then that means your bone is all right. But suppose you see the corner of the bone is somewhat white, but in between you see lots of black holes or a black pocket, then you understand osteoporosis has set in. So now you understand how easily one can understand osteoporosis in our body even without the doctor telling us. Just look at your own X-ray. Okay. So like that you can understand. So this is how VDRs are important in the bones. Then in the kidneys, you know, the VDRs, they help to reabsorb calcium. They help the kidneys to reabsorb calcium. So that this, otherwise, what will happen if the VDRs were not present, then that 125 DCC, that hormone calcitriol, that will not be present. Not calcitriol, it's 125 DCC. That's another hormone, an advanced version of vitamin D. And that hormone is what prevents the calcium loss in urine. If that hormone was not present in the body, then calcium, 90% calcium will be lost through stools, 10% through urine. That means the entire calcium what we are eating, we may eat moringa, like anything, we can go on consuming, but it will not stay in the body. Understand? If that VDR is not there. Okay. So that is why vitamin D deficiency, how does it show up? As bone pain. You have pain on the bones. Now somebody presses your bone a bit hard, then you start crying. This happens to children also, and that is related to rickets or bow legs. For all these things, we have treatments in neurotherapy, I tell you. Okay. So, in fact, I'm thinking maybe one of these classes we'll have a two-day session on calcium. Okay, a small paid session. Let us see. I'll work it out. Then we'll discuss with Anusha madam and Joshi sir. Okay. So it will all be useful. You can call all your children also, and then we can teach you the treatments. Okay. So now this one receptor, VDR, it works like a calcium accountant, maintaining balance between intake, storage, and use. So next you come to the immune system. What is the immune system? Our internal police force. That is the immune system. So here we have two types of immunity. One is called innate immunity. What is this innate immunity? It is the immunity which we have gained from our mother, our grandmother, great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, and so on, so on, so on, right up to beginning. That means whenever a child is born to a lady, to a woman, what happens? Just at the time of postpartum, just at the time of delivery, that umbilical cord, it contains stem cells. All of you must be knowing about it. And that stem cells, it contains a special code which only the child can understand. What is that code? It is the immunity which the mother and the grandmother, great-grandmother, that entire people, this thing, ancestors, what immunity they have gained from various diseases, that entire code is given to in that stem cell to the child. So it is a maternal gift from the mother to the child. I'm sure many of you must be knowing this, but I'm reminding you, see what nature, what God has done for us. Such a wonderful gift the child gets from its mother. Immunity, that is called innate immunity. Now, in this innate immunity, VDRs are present. In what are those? I told you macrophage, Kabandhan, the macrophage. These VDRs present in this macrophages, they produce special natural antibiotics. That is called cathelicidin and defensins. We don't need to know the name. I am giving this name because it is nowadays, everything is available in the net. So I want you all to keep informed. You don't have to remember the name. Just remember that vitamin D receptor is important for your innate immunity. That means a pregnant woman should also spend time in the sun. She should expose her belly, her back to the sun. A pregnant woman. How many pregnant women are doing that nowadays? Earlier, they must have been doing. Otherwise, my great-grandfather, my grandfather, and all, they could not have been so healthy. Okay. So, they must have been doing. But nowadays, we have stopped that practice. Sadly. Badly, in fact. So now I understand this VDRs are inside macrophages. So, you can also, if you want an example, it is like a natural Dettol for you. We all use, the moment we go out and all, we come and wash our hands with Dettol. Now, this natural Dettol is present in the VDRs. That is our innate immunity. In fact, I'll give you a tip, small tip. Many people may not like it. Our Guruji used to say, and he used to practice it. He will say, never use soap for your body. You can use it only to wash your hands after toilet. That's of course there. But do not use soap in your body. Of course, you can use Uptan and other things. Whatever natural ways you want, you can use it. Why? Because this soap will clean away your natural Dettol. That is the vitamin D and all that, which is natural Dettol. And this natural Dettol kills bacteria and viruses even before the disease starts. That is the beauty. So, and this is the reason I told you, people with vitamin D catch colds. This is the reason, because their innate immunity is less. because they are having low vitamin D. And then, so this is one immunity that is called innate immunity. Then the other one is called adaptive immunity. What is adaptive immunity? Adaptive immunity means the immunity to adapt yourself to the existing situation, existing locations and circumstances. I'll give you a small example. If the moment I tell you this example, you will all think, yes, it is true. What is that example? You know, there are so many children we have all seen, especially in cities. You can see children from the slums, etc. If you are living in those areas, you can see children of those slum dwellers. They play often in near the gutter, and sometimes they may even take the gutter water. It may splash on them. They are not getting any disease immediately, unless of course they have severe malnutrition, etc. Why they are not getting disease immediately? Because their body has gained what is known as adaptive immunity. And when you have an immunity, when you have this thing like that, if your body gets infected, it causes inflammation. And this VDR, the vitamin D receptor, it reduces this excess inflammation. How does this inflammation come? Because the moment there is an infection, then T cells will rush to that place, T killer cells, etc. They will rush to that place, and that is what causes. There is a war between the T cells and the bacteria, and that is what causes that inflammation, the pus, etc. So VDR, that means if you are having good immunity to the sun, and that is what those children have developed, because they sit in the sun only. Where do they have big houses to shelter from sun? They sit in the sun. So there they develop this adaptive immunity. I don't say that all of us should sit near a gutter. No, that is not the meaning. The meaning is we can develop our adaptive immunity by simple things such as staying in the sun. And this is why vitamin D deficiency is linked with infections, and then with autoimmune diseases. And then examples, of course, autoimmune diseases are multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis. Then we have something called Graves' disease, myasthenia gravis. So all these diseases all are related to vitamin D and vitamin VDR activation being poor. So next system we come is pancreas and metabolism. Okay, fine. So I have got a lot more, but we will now start after this pancreas and metabolism. This, we just got this. After this, we will then do some theory, some practice. Okay. So those of you who are getting a bit bored, just wait for a few minutes, and then I will start the practicals also. Okay, what we can do ourselves. Okay. So vitamin D, as I told you earlier, it is there in beta cells. So this we can all relate to. In India, we eat lots of sweets during the festivals. Now Diwali is coming. So many types of sweets are going to be eaten. So there, please make sure your VDRs are activated by being in the sun. I'm giving you advance warning. Not warning, it's a tip. I am not warning. I'm not frightening you. Okay. Why? Because VDR in the beta cells, it will help regulate the insulin secretion. So when vitamin D activates these receptors, the pancreas can sense blood sugar properly, and they will release just the right amount of insulin. See, that is the beauty. It is not like medication where the doctor decides how much insulin is to be given. No, It is a natural natural insulin, this thing release, where the insulin is dependent upon the requirement of the body at any given time. Remember, not just the requirement of the body is put in one lot. No, minute to minute, second to second, it is monitored and it is given. So now you understand how important it is. And that is why vitamin D deficiency is associated with insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, and type 2 diabetes. Why? Because when vitamin D is low, insulin secretion just drops down. And so naturally, that is how the body becomes resistant to insulin. People who are with me in the diabetes group, I have often given you, I told you that there are treatments for insulin resistance, but that treatment will work well. In fact, I wish I myself was not aware of this fact at that time. But of course, I was talking in general about the importance of sunlight. But that treatment, now I understand, sunlight is very essential for vitamin D, especially for people who are having insulin resistance, especially for number one, type 1 diabetics, especially for diabetic syndrome and metabolic syndrome. So all these things you must understand. So it is sometimes it is not only about sugar intake, it is about how awake your receptors are. Then we come to cardiovascular health. So what the heart, it never takes a holiday. It is a tireless worker. 24/7 it works. So vitamin D receptors are present in the heart muscle and also in blood vessel walls. I'm sorry, I get so carried away because this topic is so interesting, the topic of health. So I know I'm a bit straining. My daughter comes and tells me now and then, don't strain so much. But I'm not straining, but it's just, I just feel overwhelmed about how nature has made such a wonderful temple, the body temple, how it has made really, really, hats off. You can call any god, Guru Ayyappa, Krishna, Rama, whatever god, any god, Allah, whatever. It is a nature. It is nature. Everything is working on nature. Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, everything is nature. Understand? Okay, so now we are talking about the heart. So vitamin D receptor is present in the heart muscle and in blood vessel walls. So what does it do? It helps to regulate the rhythm of the heart. That is the number of times the heart is beating. If the heart goes into erratic beating, it is called atrial fibrillation. We have treatments to help it. Very simple treatment. Okay, atrial fibrillation. But I don't want to talk now about that. So atrial fibrillation is a flutter. You might have heard bradycardia, tachycardia, you all know. So all these things are related to vitamin D also. And how they are controlled, that is, there is a hormone system called the renin aldosterone angiotensin system, RAAS or RAS, renin angiotensin system. And this is the system which affects the blood pressure. So when these receptors, the VDR receptors, when they are active, blood flows smoothly and pressure stays normal. But when they are sleepy, the heart has to work harder. And when that happens, it leads to what? Hypertension. Then it leads to thickened heart wall. That is called hypertrophy. You might have heard of left ventricular hypertrophy or right ventricular hypertrophy. So that's all this. So that means even your heartbeat listens to vitamin D. Then the next system, the brain and nervous system. And this is where neurotherapy really shines, the nervous system. So vitamin D receptors are present in, I told you earlier, neurons and glial cells. So another way of looking at these neurons and glial cells is they are like the sorry. Sorry. So I don't know why. Today I'm getting a lot of. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Thank you. So vitamin D receptors are present in neurons and glial cells. And these are the wiring and the insulation of your brain. So when these are activated, these receptors, they influence several important brain chemicals. Two of them I am telling you, because in these two we have, in neurotherapy, we have specific formulas. Number one is called dopamine. All of you know about dopamine, I am sure. Okay. Do you know the lack of dopamine causes Parkinson's disease? Okay. Neurotherapy, we have treatments for Parkinson's disease. They work well. Then the other one is called serotonin. So when you have dopamine and serotonin, what are the ways in which it affects our mind? The mood, the motivation, the calmness. These three are under the control of dopamine and serotonin. Especially serotonin controls both dopamine and serotonin. They control mood and motivation. Serotonin is also involved in calmness. So that means now you understand that if there is a lack of vitamin D, what will happen? What will happen? You call it, what is the disease? Depression, forgetfulness, even neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and multiple sclerosis. So now you understand why multiple sclerosis does not easily get cured only by an injection, because it's also linked to vitamin D receptors. Then you must have heard about what is known as oxidative stress. That means early rusting of brain cells. That there also vitamin D reduces oxidative stress. So in neurotherapy, what we do, we improve the nerve supply to glands such as pineal gland, pituitary gland, adrenal gland. And by doing all this, we indirectly help the brain to handle these vitamin D signals more efficiently. And that is how we help to keep emotions and focus stable. So all these things we have covered. Now, the last one is cancer prevention. The most important and powerful part, cancer prevention. So for cancer prevention, what do you need? You need VDR to be active. And cancer, of course, is a wide term that is only for malignancy, even the presence of tumors. You know, you talk of ovarian cyst, you talk of ovarian tumor, uterine tumor. Everywhere, if you want to prevent all these things, you must get exposure to vitamin D. Why? Because when vitamin D receptors are active, they keep a tight control on how the cells grow and divide. You know, what is cancer? It is only division of unwanted cells. They are just proliferating. So vitamin D receptors can stop uncontrolled cell multiplication. Uncontrolled cell multiplication can be stopped by vitamin D. So you can understand like this. It is there when VDR receptors are working properly. It tells the cancer cells, hey, keep in line, don't overgrow. Don't grow more than you should. So this is why they say that people with low vitamin D have higher risk of certain cancers, such as colon cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer. So all these things are linked to low vitamin D. Then you will say, oh, I can take vitamin D tablets. I will take supplements. I am not saying supplements are bad, or they are, but they alone will not work if you do not give them the supplement of sunlight. Okay. So this is like having a security guard at every cell door. When the guard is missing, anyone can misbehave. So that is what happens in the cancer cells. Cancer cells, when there is lack of vitamin D or deficiency of vitamin D, then it means the guard is missing, and then the cells just grow and grow, and that is how cancer proliferates. So now, if we put it all together, what happens? When vitamin D activates its receptors, it is not only strengthening the bones, it is balancing the hormones, it protects the heart, it supports the brain, it guards against infection, and even prevents cancer. I repeat, vitamin D, of course, strengthens bones. Apart from that, it balances hormones, protects the heart, supports the brain, guards against infection, and prevents cancer. So then, what can you call it? It is a master switch of your health. You remember Anusha madam told that it is a very important vitamin. It is a master switch. But remember, these switches will work only if your nervous system is sending proper electrical signals. And that is what neurotherapy focuses on. Improving the nerve communication so that every receptor in the body receives the right message at the right time. So now you understand? Vitamin D is not just sunshine for your skin. It is sunshine for your cells. And neurotherapy helps that sunshine to reach every corner of your body. Okay. So now with this, we'll continue this in our next class next week. Okay. And then we are now coming to now your individual problems, your questions, etc. Whatever you want. Okay. Let us answer that. And I hope I'll be able to do justice to all your questions. Okay. Okay. Fine.
Those who have doubts, please raise your hands. And please ask only related to this session. No personal questions, please. You will have personal question, acute treatment session later, but not today. Okay. So only ask related to this session. And you can raise your hands and please switch on your videos.
Kanta madam, you can ask your question.
First, Sonal Mamtora.
Yeah, Sonal Mamtora. Sorry. Okay.
But Sonal, you have to switch on your video, yes.
Yes, Sonal Mamtora. Sorry. Yeah.
Namaste, Acharyaji.
Yes.
Thank you
Namaste.
for the lovely session today.
Thank you.
I wanted to find out. I live in the UK and we don't get sunlight all the time, as you know. How can we help ourselves if we don't get sunlight every day like we do in India?
Yeah. Good question. We have a series of formulas, neurotherapy formulas. In fact, I think next week or the week, not next week, the week after that, I will announce a practical session. It will be a small token payment. I'll announce a session for calcium related issues, how one can give calcium to oneself. Definitely, I'll put that, because it's a long, there are a series of formulas, and they all work to a good extent. But of course, as anything, you have to give time and all that. So definitely, thank you for bringing it up. So I'll definitely this thing. I was toying with the idea, but now that you have told me that, then I'm like you. I'm sure there'll be many more. You are just the representative. So we
Yes.
can definitely do it. Okay.
So, but can we, if we go outside during daytime, even if there is no direct sunlight, can we still get enough vitamin D?
I think so. Yes. If there is, if it is not absolutely dark, because our bodies, as I said, these VDRs, they can specifically pick up whatever light there is.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. You know, our rishis were living in the caves.
Yeah.
The caves, there is not much sunlight. They may be coming out
Yes.
now and then outside, but they were very healthy. How? Because
Yes.
our body has the capacity to pick up whatever it wants from whatever environment we are having. So it will pick up.
Okay.
Only thing is, if we protect ourselves, unfortunately, unknowingly we protect ourselves, then we are not even allowing the body to get exposed. So what I suggest, if the weather is not very cold, wear just a reasonable amount of minimum clothes, and then go around and then expose yourself to natural, whatever natural sunlight is coming, except in cold winters, of course. Not winters is not possible, but otherwise, let's say
Yes.
maybe 6 to 7 months in the year, you can get a reasonable amount of natural light. I don't say sunlight; it will be natural light will be there. That should
Yes.
help. Definitely, it will help.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot for asking this question. Now we have got, who is the next person?
I request all of you to please raise hands again. I earlier saw Kanta ma'am. Kanta ma'am, are you there? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah.
नमस्ते सर
Yes. Namaste, madam.
पूछना चाह रही थी कि कोई भी टाइम सन्स में अपन अपने बैठ सकते हैं कि कोई फिक्स टाइम लेनी चाहिए
Good question. बहुत अच्छा. The question is, can we sit in the sun at any time or a fixed time? See, the principle for sun is at least 45 minutes of reasonable, माने काफी पर्याप्त सन होना चाहिए, और वो सुबह का सन थोड़ा बेटर रहता है, क्योंकि उसमें आपको देखो, I will first tell in Hindi because I want her to understand. So, and then I will translate it in English for the other people. So just please bear with me, because देखिए, आपको जब सूरज की किरणें हैं, जब आप जो अपने शरीर के ऊपर जब गिरते हैं, तो तुरंत शरीर की थोड़ी सी हल्की सी चुभन हो सकती है. तो इसीलिए सुबह की किरणें जो हैं वो धीरे 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 गर्म होते हैं. तो इसीलिए ही वो कहा जाता है कि सुबह की किरणें पहले अपने ऊपर लो, और धीरे 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 जैसे वो गर्मी होगी आपको पता नहीं चलेगा, आपका शरीर सह सकता है.
हाँ
तो इसीलिए ही सुबह की किरणें बहुत अच्छे हैं. बट इवन 11 बजे की किरणें भी, अगर किसी दिन सुबह धूप नहीं निकली, आप सोचे सुबह थोड़ा सा, वो आजकल हमारे गुवाहाटी में ऐसा ही चल रहा है कि सुबह धूप नहीं निकलती, तो फिर उसके बाद अब जब 11 बजे 12 बजे थोड़ी सी तेज धूप निकलेगी, उस समय भी रह सकते हैं. ठीक है. अच्छा, नाउ आई ट्रांसलेट इन इंग्लिश.
One more. और आप
ओके
एक
सर
बार चेक
और
कर
ज्यादा
लीजिए,
अच्छा
एक बार फोन में चेक कर लीजिए यूवी रेज ज्यादा है कि नहीं, क्योंकि
हम्म.
बहुत ज्यादा यूवी रेज भी अच्छा नहीं है बॉडी के लिए. यूवी रेज अच्छा है, इतना बुरा भी नहीं है, पर
सर
ज्यादा
मेरे
ऊपर नहीं रहना
फ्रंट
चाहिए.
बॉडी कि बैक बॉडी में ज्यादा लेना चाहिए सनलाइट
हाँ हाँ, बैक बॉडी में, बैक में, स्पाइन में लेना ज्यादा अच्छा है. और जैसे अनुषा मैडम ने
ओके
बोला है, वो फोन में आजकल यूवी रेडिएशन के बारे में आता है, तो वो आप
हाँ
चेक कर सकते हैं. चेक करके
ओके
वो रीजनेबली. हाँ, so
ओके
now I will just translate in English. You see, the question was how much of sunlight, when should we take the sunlight, etc., and when should we expose ourselves to the sun. Now I have told you why, what is the importance of these sun rays in VDR. I have already told you that. Now what is it that the type of sun, the moment you are having in the early morning, whenever the sun impinges on our body, sometimes it may not be immediately palatable, or it may not be acceptable. But the early morning sun, what happens? It is first cool and then slowly the temperature goes up. So the first rays of the sun the body will accept properly, and then as the sun becomes warmer and warmer, the body is able to accept it easily. And of course, best would be to take it in the stick. The best would be, of course, to take it on your back. Expose your back, your skin, to as much as sunlight as possible, and at a reasonable heat, not too much and not too less. That is okay. Yes, now.
So after Dhanya ma'am, Jessie will be the last person asking the question. And with that, we'll end this session. So if anyone raises hand, please ignore, because we won't be making you unmute yourself. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you and sorry.
Okay. Yes, Dhanya madam.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So my doubt is regarding the using of soap. You told something, it's not clear for me. Could you please explain it again?
Good. Regarding the use of soap, what are we using soap for? We are using soap to clean our body. According to the advertisements, we are using it for that. Okay. But our earlier people did not use that, and they were healthy. I will also give you, there are so many reasons for it. Why my Guruji said do not use soap is because our body, these VDRs, the vitamin D receptors, they themselves are a natural protection, like Dettol. They are natural Dettol. So when you are using soap, what you are doing, you are removing that natural Dettol away from the body. So Guruji used to say, use it when you go to toilet, wash your hands, or use it when you are very dirty. But better than soap, rather than using soap, we should use things like Uptan. We call it Uptan in any type of that skin powder. And they contain turmeric and many essential, nice aromatic herbs. They are all made from that, and they have a slight abrasion. In fact, using Uptan, many ladies, they may be using, especially in the West, they are using what is known as depilatory wax. Depilatory wax, what it does, it just removes that the hair from the body. This Uptan is a natural depilatory. It's not a wax, but it is a natural depilatory. If you use regularly, unwanted skin hair will also go away. This is the double advantage of Uptan. And Uptan is, I call it Uptan in Maharashtra. I don't know, whatever it is, the body powder, whatever you call it, aromatic powder.
In Telugu, it's
I'm
called
from
as
Kerala.
In Telugu?
Telugu,
I'm
it
from
is called
Kerala.
as Pindi, and in Kerala, I think bath powder.
Bath powder. Okay. In Tamil, I think it is called Arappu Pudi, I think. Whatever it is. Okay. So whatever. So, yeah, in Telugu, can you please repeat that word? Anusha, madam?
I just forgot.
Oh, acha, sorry. Okay.
Sunni Pindi, they say.
Sunni Pindi. Acha.
Yeah. That is a mixture of besan and everything for, it is used as bath powder, as you said.
Okay. So,
Besan powder you are saying about. Kadalamavu in Malayalam.
No, it's a mixture of powders, rice flour, chana dal, and all these are mixed and used as a dirt remover, hair remover, or earlier days there never used to be a soap. So this was the only soap they used to use for bathing. So it was called as bath soap. Bath powder, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that is it. Our traditions were so rich, they were so health promoting actually. It was not religious or anything, it was health promoting. Of course, what you said, besan kadalamavu is only one of the ingredients, and that is because many of those other things are very costly, so people have started using kadalamavu. But even kadalamavu is better than soap. And soaps also cost now what? 110 rupees, 100 rupees they are advertising. For 100 rupees, we will get a lot of things in Ayurvedic shops. Okay. So now thank you Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Nalangu Mavu is saying Banu. Very good. Thank you, madam. Nalangu Mavu is very good also. Yes. In fact, before this thing, Diwali, before Diwali, you know, they are applying Nalangu Mavu to the legs for everybody, especially for a newly married couple and all. They apply that. That is only for health. It was made into a ritual, but it is not a ritual. It is a health protection, because the Diwali comes at a time when the weather is getting cold, and at that time you must protect your body. So simple. Array, so nice. Thank you, Miss Jessie. Please come along. Yes, Jessie.
हाँ साहब जी नमस्ते।
Yes, namaste.
आपका क्लास बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। बहुत लग रहा है कि सब प्रॉब्लम के लिए सोल्यूशन मिल जाएगा करके। मेरे को अभी 4 साल से हाशिमोटो थायराइडिटिस और सफेद दाग है। 4 साल से है। तो कोई
अच्छा।
डॉक्टर बोलते हैं कि सनलाइट में मत बैठो क्योंकि सफेद दाग अग्रेवेट होगा, मीन्स बढ़ेगा। तो मुझे सनलाइट में अब मेरे को एक कंफ्यूजन हो गया कि सनलाइट में बैठूं कि नहीं। आपको समझ में
अब
आया मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ?
समझ गया। अच्छा,
मेरे को
हाशिमोटो
हाशिमोटो थायराइडिटिस भी है, सफेद दाग भी है।
क्या है? सफेद दाग।
डॉक्टर बोलते हैं कि विटिलिगो।
Vitiligo. Okay. Actually, vitiligo is a different problem.
हाँ, दोनों ऑटो इम्यून डिसऑर्डर है।
डोंट वरी। विटिलिगो के लिए मैं आपको सोल्यूशन देता हूँ। वेट ए मिनट, पहले विटिलिगो के लिए सोल्यूशन देता हूँ। बहुत बढ़िया सोल्यूशन, आप ट्राई करेंगे तो ये न्यूरोथेरेपी भी नहीं है, केवल ये आयुर्वेदा है, लेकिन बहुत बढ़िया सोल्यूशन। आप 6 महीने ट्राई कीजिए और 6 महीने के बाद इसी ग्रुप में आप इंफॉर्मेशन देना। मे बी। अच्छा, कितना ज्यादा है, कहाँ है विटिलिगो? केवल हल्का हल्का है कि बहुत ज्यादा है? आप म्यूट हो गए हैं।
हाँ, मेरे को हाथ में, पाँव में, छाती में ऐसे हो रहे हैं, थोड़े थोड़े बढ़ रहे हैं।
बढ़ रहे हैं, अभी बढ़ेंगे नहीं।
हाँ।
Hello, all of you 87 members, please listen. This is very important. This is very important. Vitiligo is related to fatty liver. This is related to liver. I am now going to tell you a very simple remedy for vitiligo, which is also for fatty liver, which is also for good health. So please understand. Please stay with me. Some 20 people have left, unfortunately. They are really, जब अच्छा काम हो रहा है वो चले जाते हैं। क्या है? I really feel sad. इतने देर रहने के बाद जब अच्छा अमृत निकल रहा है, they are just leaving. Okay. Please wait. Okay. Vitiligo के लिए, you know, there is a dry fruit called anjeer. That is dried fig. Anjeer it is called. Okay. Then you have green cardamom. Anjeer and green cardamom. Now I know all of you must be knowing, but I will show you because I have it ready in stock.
And one more, anar peels. Anar peels को ड्राई करके उसको पाउडर करके गर्म पानी में पी लीजिए।
No problem. All of you know अंजीर। अंजीर आप कोई भी ड्राई फ्रूट दुकान में मिल सकता है। आप अंजीर ले लीजिए। एक अंजीर को आप 4 टुकड़े में बांट लीजिए। ठीक है, कीप इट असाइड। अभी इलायची है, 2 इलायची लेना, उसके छिलके के साथ लेना और उसको कूटना। 2 इलायची को अच्छी तरह से कूटो। कूट के, आई विल ऑल्सो एक्सप्लेन इन इंग्लिश, डोंट वरी, because it's very important. All of you should know this. So 2 इलायची को कूट के, वो अंजीर का जो 4 टुकड़ा है उसको थोड़ा खोल के इलायची को उसके अंदर भर देना, छिलका विलका सब उसके अंदर भर दो। ठीक है, तो अभी थोड़ा, इसीलिए थोड़ा बड़ा इलायची लेना अच्छा है। बड़ा इलायची 2500 रुपीज केजी के आसपास आता है, बट इट इज वेरी वर्थ इट बिकॉज यू रिक्वायर ओनली वन इलायची, 1 अंजीर फॉर डे। Okay, and if you possible, 2 anjeers. Okay, I'll tell you one. अर्ली मॉर्निंग इस अंजीर को बना के फ्रेश बना के उसको खा लो. मैंने आप प्रीवियस नाइट भी बना के रख सकते हैं. अर्ली मॉर्निंग एक टुकड़ा रखो मुंह में, उसको चबाना नहीं, उसको धीरे से अपने सलाइवा में वो मिक्स होना चाहिए. मिक्स होकर वो ये गल जाएगा. ओके, सो आई हैव 2 minutes, आई विल एक्सप्लेन इन क्विकली. तो ऐसे चारों टुकड़ों को खा लीजिए. ऐसे आप कम से कम 6 महीने कीजिए. विदिन 3 months आपका जो स्प्रेडिंग हो रहा है वो रुक जाएगा. और अनदर 3 months में कुछ ना कुछ तो अच्छा होगा. ये 3 साल का कोर्स है ये, और ये आपको कर सकते हैं. तो ये विटिलिगो के लिए अच्छा है. हाशिमोटोस थायराइड, तो ये जैसे ही ये करेंगे ना, आपको सन में बैठेंगे, आपको तकलीफ नहीं होगी. ठीक है, तो ये है. और हाशिमोटोस थायराइडाइटिस के लिए, उसके लिए बहुत सिस्टमिक डिसऑर्डर है, वो थोड़ा उसके लिए अलग से हमको ट्रीटमेंट देना है. तो वो मैं कुछ दिनों के बाद थायराइड के लिए मैं एक क्लास लेने वाला हूँ. तो वो उसमें मैं आपको हेल्प करूंगा. अभी के लिए आप जो भी कर रहे हैं करिए. लेकिन न्यूरोथेरेपी का CNS गैस ऑल 3 साइड्स, 1 point लिवर, ये सब आप लेते रहना. पी हेपरिन, ये सब लेते रहना. बस इन तीनों से आपको थोड़ा थोड़ा वो हाशिमोटो थायराइडाइटिस स्प्रेड आउट नहीं होगा. Now with this we are going to stop. I'll just finish in English. One dry fruit called one anjeer, that is dried fig. Cut it into 4 parts. Then take 2 small green cardamom, not the black one, the green one. Powder it nicely. What I used to do is I even used to remove the skin and cut it with scissor, because it's not so easy to it takes long time to pulverize. So you can cut it, do it whatever way you want, pulverize it, make it into a nice fine powder, and then put it into open the anjeer, the 4 pieces, you just open it and push it inside, just like a sandwich. And then keep that sandwich one piece in your mouth. Like that, it will take about 15 minutes to slowly, it has to dissolve in your saliva. You cannot chew it. You should not chew it. You should not bite it and just finish it within 10 to 15 seconds. No, it may take 15 minutes, 10 minutes for each quarter. So 4 quarters means 1 hour. Do it. And you can do it when you are working. You are cooking, you are doing whatever job you want, morning exercise. You can just keep it in your mouth and do it. That's all. And if you do this for 6 months, within 3 months, that spreading of the vitiligo will go away. If it is fatty liver, immediately within 3 months, the fatty liver will start becoming all right. And then, of course, it can be continued for this. For vitiligo, serious vitiligo, it will take about 3 years, 3.5 years. Now I have got a photo. I will locate it and put it in the group. I will send it to Anusha madam. She will decide when to put it in the group. I have got a photo of a young girl who at the age of 9, she was completely full of, her whole body was full of vitiligo. By the age of 16, I have another photo of that same girl. You will not believe it that this is the girl, same girl, almost 99.9% gone. It took 3.5 years. And that mother, the mother is a therapist, our neurotherapist. She only told me this. She gave me the photographs also. I will put it in the group. I have to locate it. Okay, so it is possible. So don't worry. Your vitiligo, your Hashimoto's thyroiditis, both can be tackled with neurotherapy. And right now, if you are going in the sun and if it is aggravating your vitiligo, then don't go. But otherwise, I tell you, for Hashimoto's thyroiditis, staying in the sun is very beneficial. But you remember, if you are having any allergy or anything, when you go there, then don't stop it for some time. Start this anjeer exercise, anjeer the treatment, and then do all other treatments I told you. CNS, gas, all 3 sides. That is CNG3, 1 point liver into 6, P heparin. Do it. Okay. So now with this, I know Anusha madam is ready to finish this. So I take this opportunity to thank Yoshi's Kerala group, all of you 83 people who are here. I thank all of you for having the patience to listen to me. And then I bless each and every one of us, of you and your families and your relatives and friends with health, happiness, harmony, peace, prosperity, and success. Health, happiness, harmony, peace, prosperity, and success. Thank you and good night. And if you like this program, please write in the group.
Gratitude, sir, for this wonderful session. And I request all of you to keep attending all the sessions continuously. And please make sure that you are making notes and also attending all the continuous sessions, free sessions, so that you can understand what's happening and understand the first and next part of the sessions also. Okay. And please share this link to all your friends whenever these class starts in the group, free sessions, so that everyone can get the benefit of it. So,
okay, Nadira madam, sorry, Nadira madam, you have asked the question. You must take the cardamom with skin, not without skin. Okay, yeah.
And one more thing with vitiligo, the pomegranate skin, it has to be peeled, dried up, and it has to be powdered, very smoothly powdered, and it has to be mixed with the hot water, 1 glass of hot water, and had it every morning in empty stomach. So that also works for vitiligo, but when in chronic, it has to be taken for a very long period of time. So at least weekly twice you can continue this, and other times you can continue what sir says, so that it can work faster altogether. Okay. So thank you so much for this wonderful session, sir, from all of us. Sending gratitude from all the participants to you. And please requesting participants to go and share your feedback in the group. Thank you. Good night. Happy weekend to all of you. Good night, sir. Ending the session, everyone. Bye.